Hello everyone, today we're going to make Indian breakfast, sometimes eaten for dinner. This is called Palappam, which means appam eaten with sweetened coconut milk. What you need is a pan. This is called a Appam chatti, which means a pot for making appam. This is non-stick. It is sold these days in Indian crockery shops. They call this a 22 cm pan. It comes with a lid. It needs a lid. They also give you a sponge to take care of the surface of the non-stick so that there's no scratches, because you need the appam to practically slide out. But in the olden days, when I was young, my mother never had non-stick pans and all that. They would use either aluminium or a small kwali. Normally it will be aluminium because we need the edges to get crispy. That is why I said either iron kwali, a small one, or a iron kwali for getting that nice crispy edges. But this is a non-stick. You will still get it, but it just won't be like the original ones we used to eat. What you need to do now is get 2 cups of rice. Another thing I have to tell you, this is a fermented batter, so try not to use plastics to keep the dough in. That is why you see in a lot of Indian homes, a lot of our food is fermented. So that is why we have a lot of stainless steel pots, because it's safer to use stainless steel pots when fermenting anything. If you use plastic, there's a chance it will eat into the plastic. I have here 2 cups of rice for my family of 4, and also to keep some for the next day. Normal rice that you would use for your home, but not the expensive ones, the ones that need only 1 wash. Try to use normal rice and then wash it nicely and soak it. Make sure there's at least 2 inches of water from the top of the rice, and soak it for 5 hours, and then I'll tell you what to do with it. Okay, hari ni kita nak buat appam santan, ya, santan manis. Ini kita selalu makan pagi ataupun untuk waktu malam. Kalau makan dengan santan manis, ya, dia memang senang nak buat, tapi yang kita perlukan adalah satu bekas macam ni, ya. Ini saya beli non-stick, ya. Dia memang datang dengan penutup dia. Inilah kotak dia lah. Dia ada cakap 22 cm. Kalau ada yang besar sikit pun boleh, tak salah. Dia akan beri satu span, ya, macam ni dalam ni. Jadi kita hanya cuci dengan span plastik tu, sebab kita tak mau cala-cala semua kan. Lagi satu, dulu-dulu memang tak ada non-stick kan. So kita gunakan kuali aluminium atau macam kita goreng-goreng ikan kan, saiz tu lah, ataupun kuali besi. Tapi kita kena minyak betul-betul sebelum kita curah adunan tu, ya. Ini kita makan untuk breakfast ataupun makan malam. Tapi banyak orang buat appam tanpa santan manis tu, dan dia makan dengan benda-benda lain macam kari ke, dal ke, macam masak lemak apa-apa, bergantung pada tempat dia orang asal daripada mana. Lepas tu ada orang yang masukkan dal lain-lain. Negara India tu besar kan, so tempat lain-lain cara dia orang buat pun lain. Ini cara saya dah biasa dengan lah. So sekarang kita ambil untuk family saya 4 orang. Baki saya akan simpan dalam peti sejuk, boleh masak lagi besok lah. 2 cawan macam ni, beras biasa, bukan beras yang mahal tu, yang cuci sekali tu, bukan yang tu. Beras biasa, kita cuci beras ni dan masukkan dalam bekas stainless steel. Kalau ada lah, banyak masakan India memang dia orang peram adunan untuk tosai, untuk Italy, banyak kan. So ada baiknya kita pakai stainless steel, sebab atau kaca pun boleh. Kalau ada bowl kaca yang besar pun boleh, sebab plastik dia akan melecet tau. Nanti lama-lama pakai macam tu, cancer ke apa, kita tak nak lah kan. Okey, sekarang saya akan masukkan ni, dua-dua ni, 2 cawan beras, cuci, dan biarkan dari atas permukaan beras kita lepas cuci, biarkan dekat-dekat 2 inci air, ya, sebab dia akan kembang semua kan. Lepas 5 jam kita akan blend lah. Ada setengah-setengah benda yang kita kena pakai lah, nanti tunjuk. Kebanyakan orang mesti ada semua ni dekat rumah, macam yeast, macam gula, kelapa, garam, itu saja, ya. Nanti tunjuk. Sekarang cuci, lepas 5 jam kita akan blend. Okay, now 4 to 5 hours have passed and we will start to blend the soaked rice. 4 hingga 5 jam dah lalu, ya. Sekarang kita akan blend beras yang telah direndam tadi, ya. Tapi sebelum tu kita akan masukkan kelapa sikit, ya, dalam 2 sudu. Untuk 2 cup beras kita masukkan 2 sudu makan penuh, ya. kelapa putih. Okay, we're going to start blending. After 4 to 5 hours now, we're going to start blending. I'm putting in first about 2 heaping tablespoons of coconut with some cool boiled water, about 1 cup of cool boiled water. I'll also add in about 1 flat tablespoon of sugar. The reason I'm blending this first is I like a very smooth consistency. I don't like to feel the coconut everywhere. So before I add in the soaked rice, I will blend this first. Tadi Aunty sudah blend kelapa putih dengan gula. Kelapa putih 2 sudu makan, 1 sudu makan gula. I have already blended the 2 tablespoons of white fleshed coconut, scraped coconut, and 1 flat tablespoon of sugar. Now what we will do is we will start adding the soaked rice. Sekarang kita masukkan beras yang sudah kita rendam 4 jam ke 5 jam gitu. Tapi Aunty nak cakap lagi satu yang kita kena tambah ialah nasi semalaman. Okay, we have to use about a tablespoonful of old rice too. Though we are using yeast, you still need to use a bit of old rice. Everyone has got their own recipe. Very closely guarded recipes every family has. Some people even use urad dal depending on which area from India you're from. Some people use urad dal, some people use rice flour as well. It's really up to you. I'm using cooked rice and ground coconut and yeast. Okay, just a bit of yeast. I'm going to throw away some of the water, and some of the water I will use to blend this. Saya masukkan sedikit air dalam ni. Nanti saya tunjuk adunannya mesti dekat-dekat sama dengan adunan thosai. Okay, ada sedikit air. Apa Aunty yang akan buat ialah masukkan, kalau ada ais pun lagi baguslah, kalau tak ada pun tak apa. Saya pakai 1 sudu rata ibu roti dan gula pun sedikit untuk biar dia sedikit, 1 teaspoon dah gula. Okay, sekarang dia akan mula membuih. Nanti kita masukkan adunan tu dalam ni ya, dan kacau. Lepas kita blend, kita masuk balik dalam ni, senang. You'll wait for it to bubble up. What is important is the consistency of the batter. Let the yeast rise. Texture ni lepas kita blend itu yang penting ya. Yeast tu kenalah berbuih sikit ya. Can you see the consistency? You need a smooth batter like this. Kita kena ada adunan yang licin macam ni ya. Nanti blend 2 kali sebab blender kecil sikit kan. I'm blending it twice because this particular blender is a bit small. I should have taken the taller one. Always test. If you still find that it's grainy, then blend it again. This is okay. Selalu test ya dengan 2 jari. Kalau masih ada macam beras-beras gitu, tak payah keluarkan, kita blend lagi ya sampai dia licin. Tengok tadi ada yeast kan, ibu roti dalam ni, so dia akan mula membuih lah. Nah, ini kita tinggalkan. Nampak tak buih-buih dia? Tak tahulah boleh nampak ke tidak. Dalam 3-4 jam dia akan naik ya. Lepas tu kita buat appam. Dan kuah manis, santan manis tu kita bubur garam sikit, santan pekat, kalau peras sendiri santan pekat sikit lah, dan gula ya. Gula tengok banyak mana kamu mau. Dan dalam ni lepas kita peram dia, bila dia dah naik, sebelum kita letak secubit garam. Okay, you'll see the bubbles now. Now let it ferment for 4 hours. In this case it's about 3 o'clock now. I will be making this around 8 o'clock, so that will be just nice. And do add a pinch of salt in this batter when it has risen already for you make the appam. And for the sweet coconut milk, just add in, if you're taking box milk, dilute it and add a bit of sugar and water and dilute it. But if you're using fresh coconut milk, you take the coconut milk, make sure it's a little thick, not very runny, and then add sugar and lightly cook it on a stove so that it doesn't go bad. You don't want it to, as long as you get 1 bubble, switch the flame off and it will be ready. So you get that done first and then you start making the appams. Untuk yang pakai santan fresh yang kamu peras sendiri, biarlah pekat sikit lah, jangan cair sangat lah, jangan pekat sangat. Masukkan gula dan kita hangat atas api kecil sampai dapat 1 buih 2 buih, kita off dapur. Kita tak mau masak ya, so air yang kita gunakan tu pastikan adalah air yang sudah masak ya. Make sure your water is boiled cooled water when you make the santan, because you are not waiting for it to actually boil. 1 bubble or 2 and you off the flame. So make sure your water is clean boiled water. Now we'll let this sit for about 4 to 5 hours. Can you see the batter has risen somewhat and there are bubbles everywhere? I don't know if you can see it. So I've already just now added in 1 soup spoonful of salt. This has to be a little salty so that when you add on the sweet coconut milk, it's a nice balance. Ini tadi Aunty dah masuk satu sudu kecil macam tu penuh dengan garam ya. Adunan ni mesti masin sikit ya, so that supaya bila kita makan dengan santan yang manis tu dia memang padan lah. Sekarang kita dah masukkan garam, dia takkan masam lagi lah, dia akan membantutkan lah. So macam ni lah yang kita nak ya. Lepas tu kita ketepikan dan sekarang kita buat santan manis dia. Ini terpulang ya, banyak mana kamu nak. Semua saya buat ni untuk semua adunan tu saya pakai 3/4 kotak sebab semua kat sini suka santan ni ya. Lepas tu kita masukkan garam sedikit saja kali ni untuk melemakkannya sikit ya, dan gula dan air. Gula terpulang ya, berapa kamu nak. Ada family yang ambil manis, ada yang tak ambil manis, so saya pakai 2 dan 3 lah. Kalau nak manis lagi lepas ni, masa masak tu Aunty tunjuk satu trik lah. Dia orang akan ambil gula satu sudu macam ni, tabur-tabur dekat tengah-tengah aja di mana dough tu akan berkumpul. So lepas masak memang cantik, dia akan macam, sebab ada gula kan dekat tengah-tengah, dia akan macam berkilat sikit. Ada orang suka macam tu, so kadang-kadang untuk budak-budak semua orang akan buat macam tu lah ya? Tambah gula dekat tengah-tengah. Tapi ni pun dah okey. Tapi yang pentingnya kita masukkan air yang sudah masak dalam ni, air yang sudah masak. Lepas tu kita panaskan dan tunggu 1-2 buih saja. Sebab tu saya cakap pakai air yang sudah dipanas. Use 3/4 of a box coconut milk. You can use fresh one, that would be even better. And then I've put in 3 tablespoons of sugar and a small pinch of salt. After this, what you do is you add in cool boiled water, and you see how thick you want. Every family has got their own preference. So add and have a look and see, because after this you're just supposed to heat it up. I think I'll add about 1.5. That's all. When you heat it up in low flame until you see a bubble or 2 appearing. I think this should be enough for all the palappam, but let me taste it. I think I'll just leave it like that, and now I will gently boil this. Heat it up so that the sugar crystals in here will dilute. Kita panaskan ni supaya tak ada gula kasar tu dekat bawah dia. Sebab kita gunakan air masak mati, memang tak perlu sampai mendidih, nanti lain jadinya. Selalu kalau kita pakai santan yang fresh tu, kita peras sendiri, memang tak ada buih-buih macam ni. Ni Aunty pakai dalam kotak punya, tahu kenapa sudah pun ada buih. Kalau santan fresh, dia memang licin kat depan, tak ada buih macam ni. Ini sebab santan kotak kan, api kecil ya, tunggu sebentar saja. Lepas tu kita off. Santan ni bagus kalau kita letak dalam peti ais lepas kita hangatkan, sejuk-sejuk sikit lagi sedap. Sebab kalau pergi kat kedai pun tengok appamnya panas, crispy, tapi santan tu macam sejuk sikit kan, memang sedap. 1 bubble and I'll switch it off, and then we can start making the appams. Oil a tissue paper and keep, even though we are using a non-stick. Taruh sedikit minyak ataupun ada silikon brush, kita taruh sedikit saja minyak dalam non-stick appam kuali ya. You can use a silicone brush and put a little bit of oil on the non-stick appam pot. Okay, I'm just waiting for 1 bubble to appear. Okay, 1 bubble has appeared, so I'll switch it off. Saya dah tutup, 1 buih dah naik. Dipakai minyak sikit saja sebab ini non-stick. Lepas tu panaskan, jangan terlalu panas ya, macam medium lah, medium ya. Kalau panas sangat tak bagus. Dan untuk yang kuali kecil macam ni, 1 sendok penuh, sendok merah ni 1 penuh. Put medium flame and let it heat up properly, but do not use high flame. And for this size, this red ladle I have, 1 ladle full will be just nice. Wait for it to really get hot, then you get the bubbles forming properly. Bila dah betul-betul panas, kita ambil 1 sendok ya. Nanti dekat description saya akan beri semua anggaran. I'll give all the description. Okay. Dan memang patutnya ada ya adunan yang berkumpul di bawah ni. You should have some batter in the middle here, and then you close it. When you notice the batter in the middle has got nice holes and flour has changed color, you will know that it's ready to come out. The sides must be crispy. So we leave it like this for a little while, always medium flame, and then you have to open and cook it so that the steam goes off and you get crispy edges, which is what we want. Kita masak sampai dough dekat tengah tu semua masak ya. Lepas tu kita buka dan lepaskan steam. Ni belum lagi masak, nampak tak putih-putih. So kita tutup balik dan tunggu sampai ada lubang-lubang dekat tengah tu. Lepas tu kita tahulah dough dia dah masak, adunan tu dah masak. Lepas tu kita tinggal buka saja. Biar dekat tepi-tepi ni semua crispy sikit. Kalau pakai kuali besi, kuali aluminium lebih cantik appam kita. Tapi ada juga chance boleh macam hangit ke apalah sebab panas kan kuali aluminium ataupun besi. Tapi yang itu lagi bagus lah. Ini anti pakai non-stick lah, tak mau hitam-hitam dekat sana sini bawah dia semua. Dia dah mula brown sikit-sikit dekat tepi. Brown tu yang sedap, yang crispy dan cantik. Okay, saya buat lagi satu. Ini saya buat untuk orang yang ambil gula macam biasa lah. Tapi kalau ada budak-budak dan diorang suka manis, apa kamu buat masa kamu dah buka ni kan, dia dah mula crispy sikit-sikit, ambil gula kasar dan letak dekat tengah-tengah ni je. Sampai gula tu cair, kita akan nampak macam plastik. Dia berkilat. Masa tu keluarkan. Itu untuk budak-budak lah. Orang besar tak perlu macam. Okay, what you can do if your coconut milk sauce is not that sweet because you want to control the sugar, what you can do if you have little kids in the house, okay, this is browning well already, do not move. Okay, I'm taking it out. Just like this, with a little coconut milk on the side will be nice. I'll show you the next one which you can do for little kids that like things a bit too sweet. Ini untuk budak-budak yang suka manis-manis. Yang bubuh telur dekat tengah-tengah ni untuk makan dengan kuah-kuah kari ke apa kan. Kuah-kuah macam lemak lah. Orang India punya lah. Ada orang buat kambing macam untuk sodi kan. Masak lemak kambing untuk makan dengan appam. Okay, kita dah letak, biar dia masak dulu ya sebelum kita gula sikit. Let it cook a while before you put the sugar. And there's some adults who like an egg broken in. If they're eating it with curries and any coconut milk based dishes like mutton stew and potato stews and things like that. This one you have to use your finger, don't use your spoon. This is still not cooked yet. Reason being, you only want it in the center on top of the thick layer of batter. You don't want it on the sides because then it would burn. As long as you see there are holes in the middle, then you can start putting the sugar. You don't have to do this. Like I said, this is just for kids. Tak tahulah boleh nampak ke tidak. Tengok dia akan berkilat macam plastik kalau bubur gula. Don't know whether you can see it. Once you put sugar in the middle, it will start shining on, as though there's a layer of plastic on top. Make sure at the back it is not blackened, and then it would be bitter. This type of brown is what you need. If you can get the sides brown as well, that will be good. This is Pal Appam. Inilah Appam bersantan manis ya, Appam manis yang bersantan. Okey, cubalah di rumah, dan yang belum subscribe harap dapat subscribe, dan okey, bye bye. Jumpa lain kali ya.